Okay, so now that you understand the basics of assistive and resistive loading for technical conditioning or correction, we're going to walk through 5 basic problems that we see in running form for all sport, whether it's running at middle speed or high speed in sprinting or endurance. Generally, many technical errors are surrounding these 5 areas. Now, the first one we'll talk about right now is around shoulder rounding or upper body posture. Okay? Oftentimes, athletes, whether they're tired or fatigued or they don't have the strength, will start to collapse. The shoulders drop forward, and we always want to emphasize a tall running position. And yes, this posture applies without running as well. And there's a very simple correction. With the EXOGEN top, if you have athletes that sit down a lot, that drop down a lot, that get into this posture position, whether it's because they're creating too much power here, they haven't fully come up, they have a functional problem that you're trying to work through, this can happen improvement with the top. Now, I talked about assistive and resistive load. The assistive load is taking the load and allowing the load to pull the arms back, and that's very simple. You're 200, 300, 400 grams on the top across the shoulder like that. And what that will physically do is that weight will pull, gravity's pulling that down, and it will simply pull the shoulder back. And when athletes have the load in this position across the shoulder, they all say, oh, okay, it feels like someone's manipulating my shoulders, pulling them back. And they can actually do their runs, their sprints with that if you want to see that tall position, if you're using it for proprioception, if you're using it for awareness. The other thing it's doing, because it's on the shoulders, it's pushing them down, so they have to think about extending and pushing posture up from the hip, which is really where it comes from. And so this is the assistive position. This will not create a permanent change, but it will make them aware of the problem while they're running. Ultimately, though, we want to resist posture, which means we have to make the problem worse. Okay? When you make the problem worse, the body has to get stronger against it. And how do you make the problem worse? Now we're going to make posture bad. We're going to put a couple of those loads. Even the most elite high-level athletes, someone my size, 85, 88 kilos, would not use more than 200 to 400 grams. The load now is in the front position or the resistive position, which means that load is now pulling that body here. So as soon as they feel that load pulling them down, they have to actively work. They have to work the muscles of the upper back and the scapula to retract the shoulders, keep tall, stop the body from being pushed down. And so this is the resistive position you would use for 4 to 6 weeks while they're running to help them develop the muscles that help to keep posture aligned. The assistive position in the back will give them the feeling of what the right posture position is, but this position in the front is what you want your runners running with, because like I said, it's pushing them down, pulling them forward, and then they have to work against that while running at high speed. Siti, how does that position feel? Different? Like, what does it make you feel? What's it doing?
I'm running like full flat, like sitting. Now I can feel like I'm pushing my body up.
So you actually can see that from your legs, you're having to push up?
Yes. I have to lift up my hip, and I have to go like something up, putting me in front and up.
Oh, that's awesome.
Pressing you down, you have to bring up your body.
So it's doing exactly what we hoped it would?
Yes.
You want to leave it right in that position then?
Yes.
Cool.
Because normally I'm running like sitting and then I'm not like pushing my hip. So when I'm wearing this, I can feel like I'm pushing my hip and lift up my body.
Cool. You like it?
Yeah, I like it.
Awesome.
It's comfortable.
Good, good. Well,